the expansion of universal pre-K. We will start with introductions. Next slide, please. I'm Stephanie Brant, the Director of Pre-K to 12 Curriculum Operations and Support in MCPS and a fellow doctoral student here at Bowie.
I'm Kim Henriquez, the principal at Rock Creek Valley Elementary School.
I'm Libby Rogovoy, the Executive Director to the Deputy Superintendent.
I'm Stacey Rogovoy, the principal of College Gardens Elementary School.
I'm Natasha Swaby-Greensword, second grade teacher at Georgian Forest Elementary School.
MCPS has a long-standing commitment to early childhood education, implementing high-quality pre-K programming for 3- and 4-year-old students. During the pandemic, we saw a decline in pre-K enrollment. Since then, there has been a robust rebound in pre-K enrollment, peaking at over 3,000 students last year. Research shows that full day has a positive and lasting impact in neighborhood schools when they increase enrollment and attendance, particularly among African American students and families who live in the community. Motivation for this creates a commitment of addressing educational inequities, motivated by that commitment to addressing the significant educational disparities that exist, especially in low-income urban areas, seeks to provide a solution to bridge these gaps and promote equality in educational opportunities. Early childhood education, really recognizing the importance of early childhood education in shaping a child's future, emphasis the significance of pre-K programs in preparing children for success in school and life. Evidence-based approach, which is really driven by the desire to propose a well-researched and evidence-based plan for implementing pre-K programs, really seeks to provide a systematic approach based on existing research and insights from scholars. And then there's community engagement, which is really that engaging of the community, parents, educators, policymakers, other stakeholders, and that really is a crucial motivation, the importance of collaborative efforts to ensure the success of pre-K initiatives. There's always that advocacy for change, which is motivated by a strong advocacy stance, aiming to transform the role from an observer to an active advocate for universal pre-K access, especially in those low-income communities. Then we have promoting inclusivity, which is that motivation to promote inclusivity within the pre-K program, really ensuring that it caters to the diverse needs of children, including those with disabilities and English language learners. And lastly, we must always consider really building partnerships, right? That motivation where we're recognizing the need for resources and support, the importance of public and private partnerships and collaborations with various stakeholders. So really overall, the motivation is driven by a commitment to addressing educational inequalities, leveraging research and evidence to propose effective solutions, and advocating for a more equitable future for children, especially those in low-income urban communities, through universal pre-K access. Next slide. So Pillar 1 of the blueprint really changes districts with the expansion of full-day pre-K. This expansion really requires collaboration across offices to develop methods and structures for expansion for general education classes. And MCPS has been intentional about partnering so that the expansion is for students who receive general education and special education services. The blueprint for Maryland's future was passed by Maryland General Assembly in 2021 to enhance student experiences and accelerate student outcomes in public education. And the blueprint implementation plan for Pillar 1 really speaks to 3 objectives. And those objectives include expanding high quality and publicly funding full-day pre-K, the administration of an unbiased kindergarten readiness assessment, also known as KRA, for all incoming kindergarten students, and then the objective of expanding family support. Next slide, please. So today we will share the why, addressing the problem statement through our research, then the how of the collaborative problem solving, and finish with the implication through reflection and next steps.
Thanks, Stephanie. So let's take a look at the big picture. So the what of our big picture is implementing free universal pre-K programs in low-income urban communities. The why is addressing educational inequities affecting disadvantaged children. And the how is through a comprehensive plan involving collaboration, data, and advocacy. Next slide. Educational inequities disproportionately affect children in low-income areas. MCPS has demonstrated a long-standing commitment to early childhood education through the implementation of high-quality pre-K programming for 3- and 4-year-old students. This includes general education and special education pre-K, as well as Head Start programs. This work has been focused on expanding full-day opportunities for our youngest learners. Currently, only 44% of MCPS students are ready for kindergarten as measured by the KRA. This rate poses challenges in helping students achieve other key academic milestones, such as strong literacy skills by the end of kindergarten, reading by grade 3, meeting or exceeding grade level standards in math and literacy by the end of grade 5, and being on track for high school graduation. We know that equity in education is vital for a brighter future and breaking down barriers. Next slide. So let's look at the problem, solution, and results. The first academic milestone indicator in the pathway is early literacy, specifically dynamic indicators of basic literacy skills, which we call DIBLS, and Lectura scores for students in kindergarten during the 2022-2023 school year. Early childhood literacy is regarded as the single best investment for enabling students to develop skills that will benefit them for their lifetime. Measuring this at kindergarten is important because it allows the district to measure the efficacy of Tier 1 instruction and the preparedness of our kindergarten students for future success. By focusing on one grade level and milestone, we can delve more deeply into the progress that our students are making. Next slide.
So Kim just introduced to you the high-level problem, and I'd like to hone in a bit on it. Next slide, please. The critical issue at hand is the urgent need to establish and implement free and universal pre-kindergarten programs in low-income neighborhoods to address educational inequalities and disproportionality that affect children from disadvantaged backgrounds. While the academic community and educational experts have extensively researched the benefits of quality early childhood education, and there is a growing consensus on the transformative potential of such programs, the overarching problem remains the absence of the systematic approach to ensure equitable access in quality low-income communities. This problem is multifaceted, and I'm just going to cover each of the problems that we discussed. There's access disparities, that children from low-income urban backgrounds face significant barriers to accessing quality pre-K programs, leading to uneven educational opportunities. And then there's quality disparities, that even if pre-K programs are available, the quality can vary widely. Lack of coordination is often a problem. The absence of a comprehensive and coordinated approach involving caregivers, educators, and community leaders and policymakers at times. The data-driven gap analysis, at times there's a lack of systematic data collection and analysis in low-income neighborhoods that's preventing the identification and needs of the programming. Educator preparedness can be a problem as well, the lack of access to continued professional development for our teachers. Inclusive leadership, so that leadership that champions inclusivity, collaboration, and evidence-based decision-making is really crucial, but often lacking in efforts to establish the pre-K access. Advocacy and policy reform. So effective advocacy at the local, state, and national levels is required to secure the necessary funding. And without that, you can't move forward. And at times it's stakeholder engagement. So engaging diverse stakeholders, including parents, teachers, policymakers, community leaders, advocacy groups, and the business community is really essential, but challenging to achieve at times. So really addressing the multifaceted challenges is paramount to empower equality and educational opportunities for all children. Next slide, please. We talked about the high-level overview with the collaborative stakeholder engagement involving our parents, educators, community leaders, and policymakers. So this collaborative stakeholder engagement is the cornerstone of our plan to implement universal pre-K in low-income communities. By involving parents, educators, community leaders, and policymakers, we ensure that the program addresses the unique needs and perspectives of each community. So this engagement is vital to secure buy-in and support for our pre-K programs. And this is connected to our data-driven decision-making. So collection and analysis of data on early childhood education, making sure that we have the data that shows how necessary this is. And we will collect and analyze the data related to early childhood education in low-income urban neighborhoods. It will help us to identify the specific needs and customize the program. Slide 12, please. Stakeholder engagement is a huge part of the process, and it's about engaging, securing, establishing, and tailoring. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these. So we have to engage the parents, educators, community leaders, and policymakers. That is how we elevate the voices to be heard and perspectives that are considered. Engaging these stakeholders is critical and crucial to secure buy-in for our pre-K programming. The securing buy-in and support through meaningful discussions. It's not enough to just inform your stakeholders. We must engage in meaningful discussions that address concerns and interests. We also should establish a pre-K task force to guide the program's development. So to ensure the program reflects the unique needs of each community, we will establish a pre-K task force, and the task force will comprise of diverse stakeholders, including parents, educators, and community leaders. We will tailor the program to reflect the community's unique needs. So every community is unique. Our pre-K program must reflect the specific needs of our low-income neighborhoods. This customization really ensures the program is effective and responsive to the realities of our neighborhoods. I think by actively engaging our stakeholders that we really could move forward with our pre-K programming.
You're muted, Elizabeth.
Sorry. We want to think about magnifying what Stacey Rogovoy just shared with thinking about what the problem is and how we can solve it by looking at data-driven decision-making. Imagine MCPS where every elementary school with 50% ever farms have at least one full pre-K class, where every pre-K opportunity exists in every cluster, where nearly all pre-K seats are full in 5 years, and where where 5 inclusive early childhood centers with enrollment capacity of 300 are established. Currently, we have in MCPS 8 schools with ever farms rates of 50% or more that do not have pre-K programs. Our goal is to ensure that these 8 schools with Ever Farms rates of 50% or higher have at least one pre-K inclusive class filled primarily with students in school catchment areas. Currently, we have 4 clusters that do not have general education with inclusive pre-K class: Poolsville, Walt Whitman, Walter Johnson, and Wooten. Our goal is to have that inclusive pre-K programming that is located in every cluster. Currently, MCPS has 2 early childhood centers with approximately 100 children in each center, both led by a coordinator. Our goal would be to establish up to 5 early childhood centers staffed with a principal, staffed with a staff development teacher, and a pre-K inclusive specialist. Professional development for pre-K expansion is going to be crucial to ensure that educators, administrators, and other stakeholders are well prepared and provide high quality early childhood education. Some key areas of the professional development that should be included in our pre-K expansion will include training in the principles of childhood development, including cognitive and social, emotional, and physical development of young children, strategies for implementing developmentally appropriate practices in classrooms, techniques for observing and assessing children's progress, and adjusting instruction accordingly. Training on inclusive practices to support children with diverse needs include those with disabilities and our English language learners. Strategies for creating an inclusive classroom environment that fosters a sense of belonging for all children would be included in our professional learning. Training with family engagement on effective communication with all stakeholders, with parents and caregivers. Strategies for involving our families with their child's learning and developmental needs, building those positive relationships, and partnering with a community organization to support our families. We'd also have training on building and sustaining partnerships with local organizations. This is going to be key. Libraries, museums, and other resources to enhance that pre-K learning environment. The aspect, when we think about our stance in advocacy, the aspect of reporting tools, including data collection and other analysis components that are included in the pillar of the Maryland Blueprint, and working collaboratively across the systems and across other areas of the county government will be key to the success, to include advocating for policies and also considering diverse needs of our system. The blueprint includes mechanisms for accountability and evaluation. Administrators benefit from using these tools to assess their school's programming, identifying the areas of improvement, and demonstrating a commitment of transparency and results. Continuing to evaluate and adapt the plan for the program will be necessary. Pillar 1 of the blueprint recognizes that children in early years are the most critical period for brain development and sets the foundation for lifelong learning and achievement. Multiple studies have documented the benefits of pre-K attendance, including an enhanced kindergarten readiness, cognitive development, and physical and mental outcomes. And in the long term, higher high school graduation rates, reducing the engagement in the juvenile delinquency and crime, and increasing participation in the workforce, stable household formation, and a higher income in adulthood.
We have presented a comprehensive plan for universal pre-K access in low-income communities. Our plan is rooted in extensive research and insights from prominent scholars, including Barnett, Fitzpatrick, Brumley, Jackson, Malik, and Reynolds. It's designed to address the critical issues of implementing free universal pre-K programs in low-income urban neighborhoods. Collaborative stakeholder engagement, data-driven decision, and professional development are key elements in getting this implemented. Collaborative stakeholder engagement involves meaningful decisions involving caregivers, educators, community leaders, and policymakers. This engagement is vital to secure support. Data-driven decision-making starts with comprehensive data collection and analysis, enabling us to customize the pre-K program to address specific needs. Professional development ensures program quality and partnerships with universities and educational institutions, which play a crucial role in this ongoing learning and transition. Our leadership stance focuses on inclusivity, collaboration, and evidence-based decision-making. Inclusivity, as you know, is advocating for policies that consider the diverse needs of children and promoting a culture of inclusion within the pre-K program. Collaboration entails working closely with various stakeholders, from school districts to advocacy groups, to leverage resources and expertise. Evidence-based decision-making involves continuous evaluation of the program's effectiveness, adapting and refining it based on research findings and stakeholder feedback. The plan also addresses educational inequities, emphasizing equity, access, and quality. The need is imperative to provide free universal pre-K access in low-income urban communities stems from the need to address educational inequities that disproportionately affect disadvantaged children. Our plan emphasizes equity to ensure that all children have equal opportunities for quality education, improved access to pre-K programs, and a commitment to maintaining program quality. We aim to create a more equitable and promising educational landscape for all students in low-income urban communities by presenting this comprehensive plan and emphasizing these key elements. The importance of our community engagement and buy-in. Well, research has shown that community engagement is pivotal when implementing educational programs. Building strong relationships with parents, educators, community leaders, and policymakers is essential to garner support and buy-in for the pre-K initiatives. Communities that actively participate in decision-making feel a greater sense of ownership and commitment to the success of pre-K programs. The power of data in tailoring programs, decision-making is a cornerstone of effective pre-K program implementation. Research indicates that collecting and analyzing data related to early childhood education allows for targeted instruction. This data helps identify specific needs, access program quality, and address barriers to access, enabling the customization of pre-K programs for optimal impact. Continuous professional development for educators. Research findings consistently emphasize the significance of ongoing professional development for pre-K teachers and staff. Collaboration with universities and educational institutions provide educators access to the latest research and best practices. Continuous learning ensures that pre-K programs remain current, aligned with evolving community needs, and maintain high quality. The value of inclusive leadership and advocacy. Inclusive leadership rooted in research-backed principles promotes equity and diversity within our pre-K program. Advocacy supported by research evidence can drive policy changes, secure funding, and raise awareness about the importance of universal pre-K access. Inclusive leadership and advocacy are crucial components in the pursuit of educational equity for all children. By recognizing and applying these lessons from research, we can create more effective and equitable pre-K programs that benefit children in low-income urban communities and beyond. Next slide. Libby?
Thank you. The plan is working through a 5-year plan. There's a few assumptions we are making. The plan assumes that the expansions will be inclusive, general education and special education. The expansion requires a conversion of the current part-day seats to full-day seats and the creation of full-day seats in some places where there were none. It also will accommodate expansion more early childhood seats that will be created and begin expansion in Tier 1 communities first. So what you see here is a total of 4,455 full-day general education seats. We would expand with about 26 classes per year at an estimated cost of about $39 million over 5 years. So the total would be to expand seats for students with IEPs and 3 classes per year for inclusive seats. So we are estimating instructional costs to be around $49 million total over the 4 years, but we would also be building out 3 early childhood centers. At this time, we do not have an estimated cost of those centers as we work with our partners.
When examining the current state, it is essential that the system thinks about the long-term effects. In a 2021 research, Greg Rosalsky shared that recent studies showed the case of a universal pre-K just got stronger. The research from Boston indicated that kids who got accepted into preschool ended up having a high school graduation rate of 70%, 6 percentage points higher than the kids who were denied preschool, who saw a graduation rate of only 64%. And 54% of the preschoolers went to college after graduation. This is 8 percentage points higher than their counterparts who didn't go to preschool. Monitoring tools for long-term effectiveness. To evaluate the long-term effectiveness of pre-K program, we need a robust monitoring tool. This tool should encompass various aspects such as student outcomes, program quality, and community impact. This will involve ongoing data collection, including academic performance, socio-emotional development, and post-pre-K educational trajectories. Tracking students' progress into elementary school and beyond will provide insights into the lasting impact of pre-K education. Innovative technologies for our pre-K education. Innovations in technology can significantly enhance pre-K education. Research has shown that interactive educational apps, virtual reality, and AI-driven tools can engage young learners and personalize instruction. Integrating technology into pre-K classrooms can improve access to quality resources and support educators in delivering effective lessons. Ensuring the sustainability of our pre-K programs, we have to ensure that the sustainability of our pre-K programs require careful planning and commitment. It requires long-term funding mechanisms such as dedicated tax revenues or public-private partnerships are essentials. Research indicates that pre-K programs with stable funding sources are more likely to thrive and provide consistent benefits to children. What roles can the public-private sector partnership play? They can play a vital role in supporting pre-K initiatives. Research has shown that the collaboration between government entities and private organizations can enhance funding, resources, and program reach. Public-private partnerships can help address resource gaps and bring diverse expertise to the table, ultimately benefiting pre-K programs and the communities they serve. By addressing these questions and considering research findings, we can develop effective monitoring tools, harness innovative technologies, ensure program sustainability, and leverage public-private partnerships to create lasting positive impacts through pre-K education. Thank you.